A lot of y'all want to know what's a better physique to have because the two are very similar. Like if you train weights with calisthenics, but you're a calisthenics athlete, you kind of look similar to a bodybuilder. The thing you want to consider with calisthenics is when you do calisthenics, you're exercising a lot of muscles that don't get worked with bodybuilding. The reason why calisthenics athletes have definition in certain specific places is, for example, let's say the number one example I can think of. So here's an example: handstand. It is very difficult for a bodybuilder or anyone to do a handstand because basically you're upside down. So all your body weight is on your shoulders. So it's as if your arms are your legs. So what that does is when you're doing a handstand, you're not in a steady position. You're constantly balancing. People might not realize this, but handstand is an exercise that constantly balances. So every time you move a centimeter forward, a centimeter back, muscles are flexing and unflexing to move you a quarter of an inch. So calisthenics will work certain muscles very specifically. The main thing that sets us apart from bodybuilding is the static training because you're working on your stabilizer muscles. And the cool thing about that is, let's say you're a bodybuilder and you're curling a dumbbell. You're just doing this motion. Let's say you're a calisthenics athlete, you're learning the one-arm pull-up. To do the one-arm pull-up, you have to have obviously bicep strength and lat strength, but you also need real good forearm strength. So what we do to train for that is we do one-arm hang. Not only is one-arm hang a good forearm workout, you're hanging. Little do you know, it's working the whole arm. What's different from bodybuilding is we're not going like this when we're doing static training. We're like this. We're not moving, the muscle is still being worked. Static training is the main difference. Considering that the muscle's being worked like this, it's working the stretched position of the bicep, stretched position of the tricep, obviously, as opposed to if you're doing a curl, you're working the flex and not so much the extension. A bodybuilder might have puffier muscles. It may seem like, compared to a calisthenics athlete, that they have big muscles overall, but it's like puffy, like there's fat under it, even though for the most part it's muscle. When you're a calisthenics athlete, the body tends to get rid of things it doesn't need. So when you're curling weights, you really need to lose body fat for the function. As a matter of fact, the bigger the bicep, the better it is for curling weights. When it comes to calisthenics athletes, yes, obviously the bigger the bicep, more opportunity for strength from the muscle mass for when you're doing pull-ups. But literally a pull-up is when you're coming in contact with gravity. So your body's gonna be like, okay, we're really working with gravity here. Let's take some of this fat off and let's make this arm as lean as possible. So that's why bodybuilders, yes, they are lean. I'm not saying they're pudgy or anything like that, but it's the function of the muscles that differ when it comes to calisthenics athletes and bodybuilders. If you look at gymnasts and you look at bodybuilders, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like if you look at a gymnast, you could tell like, hey, I know he can do flips and shit like that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out. Have a good one.